Name's Bronah Hill. Friends call me BH for short. Hashbag Bronah Hill if you must. I'm going to be recreating X3 Last Stand in its entirety. I'm going to be saving you some coin for beer so you don't have to run out and see that Dark Phoenix movie they're making. They already made the superior version. It's got the hotter Phoenix. BT dubs, X-Men Last Stand is the ultimate Netflix and Skrill for you and your loved one or loved ones. You and your girls are on the couch, you got some Skrillex playing in the background, you fire up X-Men 3 for the 500th time. She's ready to go. X3 gets the ladies wetter than Iceman caught in a supernova. Let's get started. This film starts up Fox logo, followed by that Marvel logo. We fade to black. We hard cut to the gray household where a car rolls up featuring a 20 years de-aged Xavier and Magneto, aka Eric. Their faces look like fucking claymation that's somehow wet. I mean, this tech they're using is mad crazy. They bounce into the house. They're there to try to calm a young Jean Grey down who is doing all sorts of wild fucking shit. She's lifting cars in the neighborhood, takes away a dude's mower. My mower! Douche. Stan Lee's rocking a hose. Probably one of many he's rocked over his lifetime, right? Dude, that guy must have got so much. Movie then suddenly jumps forward 10 years AC Slater. We see a young Angel in the bathroom. He's cutting the fuck out of his back like he's never heard of laser surgery. I'm like, bro, there's easier ways. So he's cutting into this thing. Kid's dad comes in, just shell-shocked. He's like, not you. Not my son. Kid's fucking crying, his blood and pus and shit's coming out his back. He's like, I'm sorry, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm like, grow a pair, kid. Camera then zooms into his back bones and we get our intro. Booming X-Men soundtracks going, words are flying up, and I'm like, shit, yes, this is how you start a movie, Brett Ratner. The DNA strands transition to that X-Men Danger Room door. It opens up. We're now in the not too distant future because this movie doesn't give a shit about timelines. Lasers and explosions are everywhere. Bobby, aka Iceman's jumping over smoldered up cars. Colossus, Rogue, Storm, Kitty Pryde, and my boy Logan / Wolverine smoking a stogie while a mushroom cloud explosion's going off behind him. He's got zero fucks to give. He's just sitting there. Off in the distance, there's a giant robot, which is a Sentinel. We won't find that out in this film. It's a precursor to a movie down the road. He tells Colossus, throw me. Colossus picks Wolverine up, does a spin, lets him go. Fastball pitch right down the middle. Sentinel wasn't expecting it. Storm is not a fan of this approach. She wants Logan to teach the kids how to work as a team. But Logan's not a coach. He's the fucking QB, and he proved it right now because that Sentinel head, now severed from its body, comes crashing down, center frame. We then slow things down for a sec. Jump cut to Cyclops, looking battered. He's got a 4 o'clock shadow cat across the face. Dude looks ill. He looks more depressed than when I found out Avril Lavigne and Chad Kroeger split years ago. Logan passes Summers in the hall, tries to do a hug it out bitch moment with him. Scott doesn't have it. Instead, as he's walking away, turns over his shoulder and scorches him with this. Hey, not everybody heals as fast as you, Logan. And I know Logan has adamantium claws constantly ripping through his knuckles, but goddamn, that's gotta sting. We jump scenes again because this film has no time for nuance. Now, we're catching up with Kelsey, working on his grammar as Beast, upside down reading some science magazine. He's a government of fish, teaming up with the Pentagon to track down threats like Magneto. Ever heard of him? Yeah, he's a big deal. Meanwhile, Professor X is dropping some knowledge on a class full of kids, featuring Ellen paging through some notes. He senses a storm is coming, and unfortunately it's not of the Halle Berry type. Shit, I wish. The sky turns Jean Grey as Summers makes his way to the beach where they were last united. Our Beast Hank McCoy is now at the X-Men mansion and he's exchanging hair compliments with Storm when suddenly the news fires up. Warren Washington II announces a cure for the mutant genome. Holy fuck. A cure for the mutants? That's insane. This, of course, gets Rogue pretty hot in the pants as she can now get the ice shaft from old Bobby. I do declare. In another location, Magneto has set up a meet and greet for all the local Hot Topic residents to talk shop. Some fast bitch flies up to Magneto. I don't know what her name is. She's like a female Flash. And she can also tell what level power mutants are. I didn't know that was a thing before this. They kind of introduced this, and I think it's cool. They're like basically Pokemon now. And I guess Magneto's like a level 3. And all I'm thinking is, if this old fuck is a level 3, what does that make someone like me? I just put up 315 on my bench last week. What's he gonna do? He's not doing that weight. I mean, he could lift it, I guess, with his metal. We're now following a convoy as it Tom cruises down the road carrying some very precious cargo. Rebecca Romijn as Mystique. She's the only Mystique as far as I'm concerned. Don't come at me with some shit about J-Law. That chick's hot trash. She's nothing compared to Rebecca Romijn. Anyway, she mouths off to a cop as a little girl transforms back into her hot self, and that scene's done. Hank McCoy's entering a facility now to see the cure, which is in fact a boy who looks just like Aang from The Last Airbender. This kid touches Hank McCoy's fur, instantly transforms it back to skin. How the fuck is this happening is all I'm thinking, and I am in for a wild movie going forward. It's beach week! Scott's at the beach. He's blasting the water in front of him because he's hearing noises all over. This dude is fucked up in the head. Out of nowhere, prepare. I told you not to stare, then he turned into stone without a microphone. So don't you forget you're in the zone. And shut the fuck up. Sorry, I went biscuit for a second. But no, he soaked up the sun, Sheryl Crow, and what came through on the other side was a Dark Phoenix. Jean Grey's back, and she definitely did something to her hair. Good news for Scott. He finally gets that hug it out bitch moment. Bad news? Literally. She hugs him, kisses him, Sonya blades the soul right out of his body. Back at the mansion, Xavier felt that Phil Collins' invisible touch, and it was not well received. Much like the last 3 dick pics I sent out. X gonna give it to ya as he sends Logan and Storm out to check out what happened. Unfortunately, they can't find Cyclops, but they do see a Barney in the rubble in the form of Jean Grey. So they cart her ass back to the X-Men laboratory, and Professor X and Wolverine have a heated exchange about the whole affair. We fade into protesters looking upward into a high-rise as Angel's dad, who's now back in the mix, tries to perform the cure on his son. Angel wants nothing to do with this, and he Kristen wigs out on these scientists, puffs up his feathers, and he runs full bore at that window. He breaks through the window and soars higher than my buddy Chaz did in college. Dude, Chaz was the shit in college. Now things get a bit Olivia Wilde as the convoy's back, but this time there's a blockade in front of them in the form of Metal Bender Master Magneto as he absolutely Shreks this whole fucking situation. Throws a car, second and third car, they slow motion spin, giant semi, woof, throws it, it spins in the air, crashes behind him, leaving the final car that he stops with ease, starts taking the bolts off the door, ching, 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 ching. Honey, I'm Bone. He's got to be ready to go. I mean, Mystique is a hot piece of ass. Multiple Man, Juggernaut, and Mystique all make their escape, but unfortunately not before Mystique takes a stinger to the back. And it's not from me. She goes down harder than an actress on the Cosby Show after ingesting a pudding pop. We do get a naked shot of her laying there, a little bit of side ass, a little bit of side boob, but not enough for me to take to the bathroom. Eric takes one disgusting look at her, fires her from the Blue Man Group. She's donezo. Wolverine's creepily looking at Jean Grey on the laboratory table when that Phoenix rises. And yes, I'm talking about his penis. And Jean senses this, because she has eyes. They start making out and things get pretty hot and heavy. Too hot and heavy even for Logan to handle. And he makes the mistake of asking about her ex. Where's Scott? Oh God! Where's Scott, Jean? Kill me! What? Kill me! Jean, the professor can fix it! I don't wanna fix it! Woof! Throws Wolverine against the wall, starts walking, door breaks open, she's super sexy hot still, walking in the hall in her skimpies. Magneto and his crew are now hanging out in Batman's cave when that fast lady, who can also read Pokemon stats, runs up to Magneto and says there's a level 5 close by. Holy shit, a level 5? Are you fucking kidding me? Meanwhile, Storm has a weather prediction, and that's cloudy with a chance of blue balls as she runs into the infirmary and sees Logan on the ground, belly up with the most confused erection he's ever had. We have now gone full circle jerk as Eric, Xavier, and the rest of their crew are at the old Jean Grey residence. Listen, I've had some major ragers back in my frat days, but the shit that goes on at this house is redonkulous. Girl-on-girl action as Storm and Flash Lady kick the shit out of each other. Juggernaut's tossing Wolverine around like his goddamn throw pillow. Jean Grey goes full Phoenix, levitating off the ground, raising up Xavier out of his wheelchair like she's one of those traveling priests healing a cripple. Much like those sideshows, this one doesn't last very long as Xavier turns into a prequel to the Infinity War, slowly turning to dust in front of his colleagues' very eyes. Wolverine stabbing into the walls trying to get to him. The house is completely decimated. Dishes are flying up in the air like they're in a fucking Beauty and the Beast musical. Furniture's being tossed this way and that. Reminded me of my buddy Scooch after he has 13 beers in the morning. Now things get bananas, Stefani. Xavier just lets this happen. Basically freezes time, and he goes full-blown Elsa and lets it go. Phoenix never bothered him anyway. He's out. Storm gives a beautiful little eulogy while Wolverine's pouting around the corner. Bro's pissed, rightfully so. He never had a chance to really stick it in Jean Grey, and now that ship has failed. Enter Bobby, wisely trying to put the moves on Kitty Pryde as she's crying after the funeral. Get that sympathy lay. Smart man. They hit the ice for a little one-on-one skate, which could lead to a broken leg if you're not careful. This one leads to a broken heart as Rogue is looking on from the window. And from the window to the hall! She meets Logan. He gives her a little bit of a coaching dad effort. Doesn't go great, and she leaves. Bad guys once again relocate. They're now in the middle of the forest with Jean by Eric's side. Pyro starts running his little bitch mouth about the late Xavier, and this is one of my favorite scenes in the film. Magneto stops the dude in his tracks, turns to him and says, "Charles Xavier did more for mutants than you will ever know. My single greatest regret is he had to die for our dream to live." And that scene went for a good 35-40 seconds, which means we gotta switch it up. Angel now shows up at the X-Men mansion where it's been decided this school's gonna stay open for business. I mean, this mansion's about as secure as Hogwarts, so might as well keep it open. That's when Bobby learns that Rogue has flown the coop. Not literally. She can't fly and her powers are pretty lame in these movies. This understandably upsets my boy Iceman as he was laying the groundwork for a possible three-way, which is unlikely to happen now. Logan is clued in by the Phoenix via telepathy of their whereabouts, which is somewhere in the woods. That's all he has to go on, and that's enough, because he's a master tracker. He's got that snout. He promptly packs his bags and is ready to head out, but not before Barry comes in for one last scene with him, because she's obligated to have more lines in this film due to contract negotiations. We get a teaser to the Iceman versus Pyro fight that's going to come up at the end, when they're outside of a police station protest where the cures are taking place. He lights this thing up like the 4th of July, and Bobby gives him some mean looks. In the woods somewhere, Logan is caught up to the camp and is now fighting Mega Man villain Woodman. This dude's cray. He's throwing wood out of his wrists. He's like... More guys are coming. Wolverine's berserker rage mode. Jumps off the top of a tree after scaling it. Lands between two guys. Runs full bore at Woodman, who's throwing wood at him. After going John Rambo on a few dudes, he's disposed of by Magneto. Pentagon has a trace on Camp Asshole, so they set the SWAT team in. Unfortunately, it's multiple man tricking them. Logan informs the others at this point that Magneto and the bad guys have headed to Alcatraz to kill the boy, aka stop the cure. Bobby reminds Logan that there's only 6 X-Men. Logan stops Bobby in his fucking tracks and gives one of the most inspirational speeches I've ever heard. And I want to be fully transparent here. I want to be honest with you bros for a sec. I've only cried twice in my life. Once when Paul Walker died, and once when I saw him on the beach in the Fast and the Furious film for the last time. And this was almost a third time I shed a tear, but I'm a man, so I held it in. But shit, I can't help myself. Paul Walker, man. Pour what's left of this out. We're now at the most epic scene of the movie, where Magneto lifts the entire Golden Gate Bridge and moves it to Alcatraz. Foundation starts cracking. Cars start moving with people in them. Oh! Shut the fuck up! Magpie sends the pawns in first to take out the guards, which they have a hard time doing because the guards are using plastic weapons, so Magneto can't control them. Guards make some short use of the pawns, even throwing up shrapnel bombs in the air that shoot out needles with the cure in them. So dudes are like running and yeah, I'm normal now. Guys climbing the side of the building. Normal, dead. That's why the pawns go first. Shockwave Chick takes out all the plastic weapons in one fall swoop. Just in time for the X-Men to arrive on scene, all jumping in. Everybody's jumping now. Like, it's a jumping extravaganza. Storm comes flying down. Beast jumps in from God knows where off the side of the building. How do you like now? Kitty Pryde and Colossus come down. Don't ever do that again. Wolverine double blades down the side of the buildings. They hero line up for a last stand. Juggernaut's not waiting any longer as he bowls over a bunch of guards on his way into the building to kill the kid. Kitty Pryde's in hot pursuit as she runs through the walls and pulls the Juggernauts halfway through the floor. Haha, eat my snatch. She doesn't say that, but it would have been awesome. This only angers Penis Helmet more as he looks up at her and says, "Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!" He uses his head for more than a phallic novelty as he blows through wall after wall trying to catch this little girl. Porcupine Face shows up out of nowhere. Bear hugs a scientist before those quills go in the side of her. Instant death. It's okay. His two pals, Shockwave and I think Psylocke, steal Angel's father. Just as they toss him off the top of the roof, he's saved by an angel in the outfield. His son, who flies away off into the night with them, thus completing that story arc. Angel. Cars are now flying through the air on fire trying to pop Halle's berry. And we finally get our standoff between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Ice versus fire. You're in over your head, Bobby. Maybe you should go back to school. Bobby goes full Iceman. You should have never left. Knocks him out, ice cold. Wolverine's in the air, blades out after being tossed by Colossus, but then he hits the ground hard by Magneto. You never learn, do you, Wolverine? Actually, I do, bub. He didn't say the bub, but he should have. Beast peekaboos from behind Magneto, stabs him with a bunch of used needles full of AIDS. I'm joking, that would have been way too dark. It's just the cure. Dark Phoenix is sick and tired of standing around and doing nothing. It's time to use up the rest of this X-Men budget. She goes up in the air, starts bringing everything to a close, just ripping up buildings, killing people instantly. It's insanity in the coolest way possible. We get a fucking camera pan around all the destruction. Cars in the air. Fire and explosions. It's up to Wolverine to now save the day. He starts to slowly make his way up to his true love, knowing he's gonna have to make the greatest sacrifice of all by killing her. Fucking skin and shit's peeling away. His adamantium's showing. He He's taking all the pain that she's throwing at him, both physically and emotionally. And this shit runs deep, bro. Balls deep. Bryan Adams looks into her eyes as she pleads with him. Save me! I love you. Oh, Jane! As he stands there with the world plunging down around him and the music blaring at full notch, she just died in his arms tonight. Must have been something he said. We end with some closure, because Rogue finally gets to bone Bobby after getting the cure. Logan gets to head outside to take in the gentle breeze as a phoenix rises from the ashes into the stars. The final shot brings us to another chess match in the park, but this time Eric's alone, with his frenemy long gone and his powers unattainable. Or are they? As he looks one last time at a chess piece, feeling something familiar inside of him, and click, that pawn fucking moves. Click, boom! Credits come up. Brett Ratner, one of the best directors working to date, and one of the best X-Men films of all time. This movie's a 10 out of 10, which is only made even better when we find out Xavier's somehow still alive after transferring his soul into a body double of his brother who was unconscious in a hospital in a coma. It's awesome! And now I want to watch it again. Hey Schroeder, order us a couple Zaz, fire up X-Men, we're doing it. Thanks for watching my new series. It only exists because Top Buzz has allowed me to create some new content that I can put on their channel along with YouTube. And Top Buzz, if you don't know, is a great place for creators to distribute their content to a new audience and earn money for every click. All you need is an active YouTube channel, and you can sign up and sync your content onto your own Top Buzz profile in seconds. I have a link in the description for you to click or press to get started, so head on over now. Unlike YouTube, Top Buzz has no requirements for earning revenue. Any channel of any size can earn money. They are all about the content, and I wouldn't be part of this free service if I didn't like what they had to offer. Thanks for watching the episode. I can't wait to make more of these down the road.